Hello and welcome to the Level Cap Podcast, where everything is made up and the topics don't matter.
I feel like that's been taken already.
Are you sure?
I think so. Isn't that Saturday Night Live? Everything's made up and the questions don't matter.
No, I think it's Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Whose line is it anyway? That's right. Yeah.
Dude,
So this would be like whose game is it anyway? But then it's always a level 99 game. So
It's Level 99's game's game.
yeah. So the question really doesn't matter in that case, I suppose. But well, actually, we are going to talk about other people's games because we always do that.
Is everything made up though?
Yes, everything in the world is made up except for things that already existed before humans.
So board games are made up.
Board games are all made up.
So are you?
But they exist too. Just because something's made up doesn't mean it's not real.
Brad, are we broaching on some sort of like ontological understanding of the world or something? You know what?
Maybe.
You know what?
Maybe.
I am your host, Marco DeSantos, and with me is my very philosophical co-host, Brad Dalton Jr., philosopher of Level 99 games.
It's good to be here. You know, I do think we don't take enough time to think about the big questions in our modern lives. I wonder if there's a board game that would help us to understand philosophy and the nature of the world around us, and at least help us to ask these questions. I feel like we don't ask enough questions these days.
Is there a board game that does that? Maybe Cards Against Humanity. Not necessarily because of the game itself, but because the moment people play it, you wonder to yourself, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with me? Right? So.
Oh man, I saw this parody article yesterday that was that said, new edgy game is just cards with swear words on them, and it was pretty hilarious.
Oh, you have to link me this article.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of cards or its many spin-offs. Mainly because I think Apples to Apples was a better game as far as like games go.
I've never heard of it, so can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there was this award-winning game called Apples to Apples, and it came out in America around maybe 2006, and everyone was playing it. It was the hot party game, and the way it works is there are adjectives and there are nouns, and one player plays a noun, and each one of us throws in an adjective, one player plays an adjective, and each one of us throws in a noun that describes that adjective, right? So you might throw in like fluffy, and then you get 6 different nouns, and there are things like, the names of famous actors or objects or
Fluffy Woody Allen.
Yeah, or even, things like, like my mom or something, like, and it was a really cool game, and everyone thought Apples to Apples was very innovative and very novel. Yeah, Apples to Apples is a great game, and more people should play it.
Yes, because
the important thing to know is that Apples to Apples came out before Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, and you can have fluffy Woody Allens, or fluffy Tom Hanks. Or something. But Brad, aside from Apples to Apples and Cards Against Humanity, how are you today on this wonderful morning? In your
I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. It's a good day. We're just getting started. It's only like 9 o'clock over here, and just getting down to the last few days of the Exceed Fighting System Kickstarter, which, if you're listening to this, is already over. Sorry you missed it, so I won't dwell on that too much. But we should have some late pledge options available.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, it's probably like, 2 or 3 weeks after the Exceed Kickstarter has ended, right?
Probably just 1 week, given how far our buffer is.
Oh, that's true. So probably 1 week. So you'll know how awesome it is already. So watch out for the awesome stuff and awesome, if
we
you
got
haven't watched
cool collector's edition. I'm pretty sure that there's an art book in there at this point. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to really we want to build like a big premium edition that will kind of remind you of what Devastation was when that came in. Like this big box just full of cool stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really neat. It's gonna come in this nice collector's box with the art book and a poster on top, and it's gonna have a bunch of promo cards, 2 or 3 different promo characters in the box, that'll be tough to find elsewhere, and yeah, just a really cool, nice addition. And then that's kind of what we're structuring to do, is to maybe like once or twice a year build these really big premium edition of games. And I think that's what we're going to kickstart in the future, is these cool big box collector's editions. And then we'll just do the for other stuff we'll just go direct to distribution, because we don't want to kickstart every single thing we do anymore.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, right? Because having to wait for the turnaround sometimes might take a while. So
yeah, and we want to do big things on Kickstarter. We don't just want to do our any project that comes in the door. We want to make sure it's the biggest and most impressive of our projects that we bring to Kickstarter.
Such as 7th Graw Succeed, so late pledge if you're listening to this. But let's move on from our days. Well, mostly your day. My day is the usual. Brad, at this point, what am I gonna say about my day?
Exams are almost over, right? So there'll be more to say pretty soon.
Yeah, that's pretty true. But for now, it's just exams. So let's stop talking about my boring exams and start talking about my exciting exams. That is to say, video games. Brad, our game club game for this week is
Civilization 5,
yes.
Also known as Civilization V to some.
Or Civilization 2 Fingers Up.
Yeah, peace. Civilization Peace.
Actually,
probably the most peaceful of the civilizations.
Yes, which is really... So here's some background, though. I've played a lot of Civ 5, but I haven't played a lot of the other Civs. I haven't played a lot of Civ 4 or the earlier ones, because, I'm young. I'm like, 21 right now? So, I wasn't born in that time. And I haven't played Civ 6, because school. So, Brad, why do you think Civ 5 is the most peaceful one?
Well, I don't know if it's the most peaceful. I've played 4... which many people say is the best from a gaming, a strategy perspective. And I've also played 6, which is the latest one. And I like what both of those bring to the game. 5 definitely adds a layer on top of 4, but it took away a lot from 4's combat. So in Civ 4, you can stack units together. And this doesn't sound like a really big deal, but it is a big deal because you can have any amount of military strength in one single tile. Whereas in Civ 5, you can only have 1 military unit per tile, which means that you are very limited by the geography of the map. If a city only has 3 tiles going into it, you can only bring 3 armies adjacent to it. Whereas in Civ 4, even if it's only got 1 tile that's open to the world, you can bring an unlimited number of armies to bear on that city. So Civ 5 made military much harder. If your city was on a port, you needed to bring ships to attack that city because you needed to fill those 2 extra tiles with combat units. And if you couldn't, it would be a lot harder to take the city. So I think that adds a little bit in terms of tactics. You can't just completely bowl over somebody. But it also means that, it also means that defending a city is a lot easier.
Definitely.
Which lends to more peaceful gameplay and more diplomacy, because a protracted war is bad for everybody, except the people who aren't participating in that war, who just get ahead for free. Yeah, so I think that Civ 5 made peace a much more attractive option, whereas in 4, if you took over a city, you just immediately got it, and you didn't have to worry so much about happiness in 4 as you do in 5. In 5, happiness is really important, and if your people are angry, then you lose a lot. And also in 5, if you take over a city, everyone gets unhappy for a long time.
For a long time.
Yeah, and they're also unhappy while the war's going on, and the wars are longer because you can't just, build this giant murder ball and roll it through your enemy's territory. So 5 put a lot of penalties on combat, and I think 6 actually took away some of those penalties. That's why I say 5 is probably the most peaceful of the Civ games. It was a lot... Although also in 5, culture was based on the size of your empire. So in 4, culture was just a currency you get, and as you build more cities, you'll generate culture from those cities. But in 5, every time you build a city, your culture requirements get diluted, and so you have to have more culture to get to the next level in your civics by a pretty strong degree. So the only way to really do a culture empire is to build a small empire. And so, like, small empire was not a legitimate playstyle in 4, and Civ 5 made small empire a reasonable way to try and play and win the game. So expansion was not mandatory anymore in 5. Yeah, that was the complaint that a lot of people had about 5 too, was that it was too easy to turtle and to build your island kingdom and to never leave and still win the culture race before anybody could stop you. 6 did make that a little bit easier to interact with the other people, because the culture victory is now a tourism victory, which means you, instead of just building directly up to Utopia Project like you do in 5, you actually have to go meet the other nations and and build works of art so that all the people in the world love your country the most.
Yeah.
And then you get the tourism victory, which is the new culture victory. So in this one, they fixed it in 6 by making the culture victory interactive with the other players, which was kind of what was missing from 5.
Though I'd like to interject something. 5 had that when they released Brave New World, or is that what it's called? Right.
Yeah, they had culture and they had corporations by the end, or they had tourism at the end. But the tourism in that one was I believe was a component of the diplomatic victory, wasn't it? You have to correct me if I'm wrong, because I never got the diplomatic victory in that game.
Yeah, no, diplomatic victory is completely separate from tourism.
Okay.
Yeah, diplomatic victory is like you have to lead the UN, and tourism is just, you accrue culture, and if your culture supersedes the amount of culture another civ has.
Right. Diplomatic was the economic victory in 5, because you just had to buy all the city-states, and once you bought all the city-states, you could control the UN.
Yeah, pretty much. That's essentially what it was. That's why I love playing Venice. Money, and then you just win via ruling the UN. But Civ 5 is really interesting. My friend and I have played a lot of Civ 5, especially him. He has over 500 hours or something in it. Civ 5, I think, breaches into one of those things. I listened to a video made by Extra Credits on this, and they were talking about how some strategy games have that problem where it becomes a solved puzzle. So I love Civilization, but at some point it's solved. At some point you just know you've won the game, but the game doesn't recognize it. It's like you've taken down all of the other cities, other civs. You have times 2 everybody else's score. Your tech tree is 2 eras ahead of everyone, but the game's just like, nope, you haven't made the spaceship yet. You don't win yet. But I'm like, I win now. So that was a big problem. And then they were talking about something along the lines of how uncertainty and randomness are important for games like Civilization, strategy games, because the moment that your strategy works 100% of the time, all the time, then it becomes a solved puzzle and it's boring. So how do you think that kind of concept has permeated through other games, or maybe even some of your own designs?
Well, I think that one of the things that we try that you want to do is you want to make each you want to escalate the stakes in each successive round. Like in Millennium Blades, each round is worth more and more points, and that's pretty typical in a lot of board games. So the stakes are bigger in each round. If you lose harder, and if you win bigger, and that's it's what we call Family Feud scoring, where it doesn't really matter what happens in the first 2 rounds, because the final round you can always win or lose unless you've really messed up. And I think that there's some delicate line to walk there, because you don't want to make the first 2 rounds irrelevant, but you want to make the final round relevant. And so what you kind of have to do is, in the first 2 rounds of the game, or the first portion of the game, you're building advantages that will hedge your bets in the last round. So you're always building up to the final conflict, but you are what's the word? But the outcome is not known until you get there.
Yeah.
And a good example would actually be Exceed, because in Exceed you have your hand of cards. You know what all your options are. You don't necessarily know what your opponent's options are, but you kind of know. And so then you move back and forth. You play a boost. All these things are building you into a specific move. So you pick a move from your hand that you want to do, and then you try and set up for that move as best as you can. And as you do those setups, as you move to certain ranges, as you play boosts, as you prepare to make that strike, you're starting to hedge your bets towards that final conflict, and your opponent's doing the same. So you're both building up towards this, towards this clash, and that's kind of what the strategy game has to be on a larger scale. Is you have to do a lot of building up to this final clash, because if the clash occurs in the mid game, like they're talking about in the extra credits episode you reference, if the clash happens in the mid game, then the end game is meaningless. And that's what often happens in Civ, is that the race to the Great Library in Civ 4 is like a major turning point, and the player who gets Great Library first can often control the entire game from that point through science. And so it's a delicate balance. I think Civ does a remarkably good job given how complex that game is. But the right answer is play with humans, because humans can concede when they realize they've lost.
Right?
I mean,
smart.
Yeah.
Now, only if you could make AI as smart as humans, they'd know when to concede too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is when you're playing with AI, you could just declare yourself the winner and quit. It's not like Civ has achievements or unlocks, or, like you've got to beat this stage to get to the next stage or anything. Like, you could just say, okay, I've won, and walk away. Whether the game acknowledges that or not, that doesn't really matter. The AI player is not going to get mad at you for declaring your victory early.
That's true. But at the same time, that's kind of the same thing as, like, you found your first city and you're like, I win.
Well, I mean, you have to like, but that's the thing, right? Like, if you're playing a game solo, you're not playing it for the
winning,
like,
not necessarily.
Well, I mean, you are, but you're playing it for the experience of the game and the thrill of victory. And so, if you're not getting that thrill, or if you're not getting that experience, or if that experience doesn't interest you, and you put down your first city and you say, "Okay, I've won," then what probably happens is that the game doesn't interest you. It's not that you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you should probably just stop playing Civ 5. But if you get to the end game and you're like, wow, I'm way ahead of everybody by double, there's no way that any of this is not even interesting. I'm just clicking and it's taking a long time for the AI to take their turns so I can get to my spaceship. You might as well just say, okay, I think I got this, and turn it off.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you know you've won, quit. And that pretty much does it for our Game Club game of this week. Civilization 5 and some of 4 and 6. Brad, would you recommend this game?
You always say... I would. I'd recommend 6. It's really good. They do a lot of really cool stuff with civics, which was something that they started to do in 5, and 6 really brought it to life. The civics are great. I notice you always say that pretty much sums it up, but usually it totally sums it up. Although I guess in this case it did pretty much sum it up, because we kept talking about it after you said that. So maybe... Anyway, let's move to the next segment.
Yes, the next segment.
Play some Civ.
Yeah, get some Civ. Now, the next segment is, of course, our Character of the Week. Who is?
Who is it again?
Didn't we agree on this?
Yeah, we did, but I was expecting you to keep tabs on it.
Uh-oh. We both forgot?
Wait, no, we didn't both forget. Hold on, I gotta remember. Runika. You're going to talk about Runika.
Oh, yeah, there. There was a reason why I had the Bits of Eternia page up.
Oh my gosh.
Are we going to keep that on the podcast? I'm going to edit that.
No, that's great. You got to leave that.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Anyway. Okay. So Runika Zananen is our character of the week. She's the Royal Armiger of Jeffries, one of the 3 main characters in BattleCon Devastation. Devastation storyline, probably the main character in the plotline of BattleCon Devastation, because she kind of sets all the events in that game's story in motion. She is so she's a very focused, highly self-motivated character. She was the royal armorer of Jeffries and an accomplished artificer. And she builds all kinds of magic weapons and technologies and armor for the Jeffrian royal army. So her job is basically to make weapons and armor.
Magic weapons.
And yeah, magic weapons and armor. And all the magic technology that she uses is based off of ancient artifacts that were discovered out in the like basically in the ruins of the world. So there was at one time all this magical technology around, and Runika is kind of a archaeologist slash artificer in the sense that she not only builds new she discovers these artifacts and then she builds modern versions based on the technology that these ancient versions are based on.
So they don't belong in museums.
No, they don't belong in museums. That said, she's not totally thrilled about them being on the battlefield either. She's more academically interested.
There was this entire plot.
That's the job.
Not liking the fact that Jeffries was using some of her like anti-dragon golems or something.
Yeah, she doesn't want so she has this big golem Udstad that she's rebuilt. That's a dragon slayer, and these were built during the Draconic Wars to kill dragons and fight on the side of humans. And she's rebuilt one of these, but she's afraid that when she finishes it, that King Alexian is going to send it out to the front lines to fight in the war against Gesselheim. She doesn't really want that to happen, but at the same time, she gets her laboratories, she gets to do her research, she gets to do her expeditions, because she's sponsored by the government. So it's kind of a fine line in that she likes what they offer her, but she doesn't like what they want in return. She doesn't want to give them what they want in return. So she mostly focuses on like defensive technologies.
Yeah, like her auto deflectors, her phase goggles, and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so she works on all that stuff.
Can we talk about that she's the main character in a certain game, or no?
In the Adventures an Indian's RPG or visual novel game.
Yes,
I guess visual novel is not a really great way to put it because it's an adventure RPG
with a story.
Yeah, with it's pretty heavily story based.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the main character in that game. Alongside Eligor and Schecter, like she's kind of the first character in the party, and they join pretty quickly as supports. And become kind of the other main characters in the party. But Runika really is kind of the anchor that everyone else, gravitates around in that game.
Okay.
She's a really cool character.
Yeah, I really like her design. She was actually one of the characters I was initially interested in. Because, you know me, Brad, I love me my brawlers, and Runika's one of them. But here's the thing, though. Brad, talk about the design of this character. So I know you're trying to go for this artificer feel. That's why she has all of these artifacts with her. So what inspired this design? She looks very steampunky. So is artificery?
Artifice. I think artifice is the noun.
Okay.
Form.
Is artifice in the world of Indians just a fancy form of steampunkery?
No. It is a what's the word? It is a it's ancient technology, so it's all lost stuff from a bygone age. The reason that Runika looks more steampunky is because all of her stuff comes from the artisans in Jeffries, which is kind of a Renaissance medieval kingdom. So whenever she gets something made, it would come from the artificer or the blacksmiths and the jewelsmiths and such in her kingdom, which make that style of clothing. So she dresses like somebody from Jeffries. Not necessarily like in steampunk fashion. It's just that the fusion of tech and the medieval Renaissance style makes her feel very steampunk.
Oh, okay. So that's why. So when you're talking about the mechanics of this character, what was the gameplay feel you were going for?
I think we really wanted to go with a character that was modular. So in that case, she was kind of a precursor to Clive.
I see.
And that you have a lot of different things that you have going on. We also wanted to make a character that had kind of this negative slope. A lot of characters get more powerful over time, and so we wanted to try a character that starts out powerful and gets less powerful as they fight. And so Runika's kind of like that. She has all this tech in BattleCon, and as you fight, it starts to break down, and she's got to like stop and fix it, or fight without it. And with it, she's very above the curve, but without it, she's a little bit subpar.
Yeah, this is the exact same reason. This negative slope that you're talking about is a large reason why a lot of new players end up hating this character, though. And
she's very hard to play around. She's very hard to play around in the first few turns of the game, and that's why we put her in the more advanced tier rather than making her a beginner character.
Yeah, because honestly, she's not really broken. In my personal opinion, at least.
No, it's not nearly as much as some of the other Devastation characters. She's got I feel good about Runika. Like she's one of my favorites in that set.
I really like her too. It's just that she kind of warps some matchups depending on who she's fighting against, but most of the time she does fine. Like it's absolutely okay.
Yeah, if you're a character that gets a slow start and requires momentum, then fighting against that that negative curve is pretty tough in the early game.
It's almost impossible to come back. It requires a few hard reads, Mm-hmm. But in the end of the day, it's a fighting game. You have to have some bad matchups, or else you'll be broken, like a certain character.
Yeah, there'll be some amount of that. But I feel, I mean, overall, it's a character one of the character designs I'm more happy with in the set.
Okay. That's good to know.
Oh yeah, Runika also has a bunch of weird quirks. I mean, she's very very much like this kind of like quirky gadget type character. And I think I told you earlier that everybody in Indians has some kind of weird like minor power.
Yeah, what's hers?
So Runika's weird minor power is that she always wins skill games. So like she cannot lose, whether it's like chess or darts or like any one-on-one skill game. Like she just wins and can't help herself.
Wow. Even against the most like skillful, prolific grandmaster at something, she will be.
Yeah, exactly. So there's like one scene in the VN where like she and Kadath start playing BattleCon, and Kadath is pretty good at this game, but he just continuously loses over and over and over again. He gets so frustrated, and Runika's like, "Well, don't worry about it. I always win." And Kadath's like, "Yeah, I can see that." And she's like, "No, really, I just always win. Don't feel bad.
It's my magic, man."
Yeah, but she is kind of a competitive player even then. And she does gloat a little bit, even though she knows this about herself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So hey, look, if you had the magic ability to win all the time, I'd take credit for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being born smart, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to putting her in BattleCon Online as well. So
and speaking of putting her into games, let's not forget that she is in Bits of Eternia. That Kickstarter MOBA game that's up right now.
Battle for Eternia. So she's going to be in that game, which is it's illustrated by Fabio Fontes and designed by my good friend Chris Falkenberry, who was like in my first D&D group in college. So we're pretty close from those memories. And so Chris asked if we could do a Indians character, and his team didn't have an artificer, so we suggested Runika. And so now she's available in this MOBA board game, Battle for Eternia.
I need to back that.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's pretty cool. I've played it. I liked it. It's got some neat mechanics to it, and I think it'll do pretty well for him. And of course, Fabio's art is super cool, as usual.
Fabio's art is always super cool. That's why you're on this magical friendship journey with him.
Yep.
Not that I'm jealous or anything.
Well, we're on a magical friendship journey too, Marco. You can't compare your journey to someone else's journey.
I see. That's why that was a good game. Anyway, that pretty much does it for our character of the week. If you guys want us to talk about any other specific characters, want us to talk about, maybe a character from Millennium Blades, Exceed, BattleCon, Argent, or any of our level 99 games, do tell us in the comments section down below, or any of our social medias, and we'll get to that character eventually. And now
I've really been enjoying listening to reading the comments, by the way. So thank you guys to all of you who have left comments. We've gotten a lot of comments back, and it's been really nice to read them. So thank you.
Yeah, and a lot of them are nice. Almost none of them, if not none of them, are mean. So yay! Thank you, listeners. Let's move on to our 99 questions segment, where we answer 99 questions that aren't 99 questions just yet, but we're getting there. This is episode
16, I think,
or 17, I think. Yeah, 17. Yeah. So we're
51.
Yeah, dude, we're getting there. Let's start it off with something not related to level 99 games. Who do you main in BattleCon or any fighting game?
In BattleCon or any fighting game? Well, there's no character that's in any fighting game, so I guess that's.
Let's just list off 4 games for BattleCon. Exceed, Street Fighter, and Smash Brothers.
Okay, let's see. For BattleCon, maybe it's hard to have a main in your own game because I got to play everybody. Maybe Byron.
Okay, interesting.
In Exceed, probably my favorite is right now maybe Galdred. I play a lot of Galdred.
Galdred's interesting, yeah.
And then Street Fighter. Most recent Street Fighter 5, I play Nash. And then in Smash, I used to main Mewtwo, but these days I guess I find myself playing. But I'm a giant Kirby fan, so I play a lot of Kirby.
Speaking of Kirby, isn't it the day we're recording this, April 25th?
It's April 26th, and it's the 25th birthday of Kirby, my favorite video game character of all time. Go Kirby!
Oh, really? He is. Wow. Okay, so here's something interesting. My mains in BattleCon, it's Seth because hello. In Exceed, it's Minato because cars. In Street Fighter,
cars and suits.
Cars is a great reason to like anything, right? Because cars.
Yeah.
In Street Fighter, this is a bit weird because I always love me grapplers, but I don't really main Geef. I don't really main Geef.
Well, you have to main Karen because she owns more cars than anyone else.
Oh, that's true. All right, so it's Karen now because she has more cars. And for Smash,
it's got to be Captain Falcon because he also drives a car.
Is that still a car at this point? Isn't it a spaceship?
Yep, it's a car.
It's a car. All right, sure.
Yep.
Then it's
See, now because you play Minato, you've been locked in. But no, really, tell me your real favorites.
In Street Fighter, I think it have to be something boring like Ryu, because vanilla, I guess.
Fundamentals.
Yeah, fundamentals. And in Smash, here's the fun part: it's Kirby. Hey, I love playing Kirby.
Oh, good. So we're both Kirby fans.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love sucking people up and then stealing their powers. It's great.
Oh man, the hats. Like,
the hats are so cute.
This hat greed has lost me many a match.
Oh man, I always love sucking up characters that you just don't expect what it'll look like. Like the first time I sucked up the Ganondorf and then ate him, I was like, that's horrifying, but at the same time, it's still cute.
I mean, the best is when somebody's trying to jump back on the stage, and you just jump out and eat them, and then jump off with them in your mouth, and and double KO. It's like the best maneuver.
Yes.
All right, Kirby's the best.
Dude, Kirby's great. Also, his entire stomach is like in a separate universe or something. So, how about this one? Is there a specific playstyle of character you're usually drawn to in fighting games?
Yeah, I probably play the flexible types. I really liked. I played Kokonoe and BlazBlue a lot. Kirby, of course. And so I like the toolboxy characters who have a lot of stuff or can kind of control a whole area. New 13 was my favorite all-time favorite fighting game character in BlazBlue, and followed by Kokonoe later. But I like that character because you can kind of be everywhere at once, and you can set the pace for a match because you can attack from any angle at any time. Okay,
yeah. I that's a very good playstyle because in BattleCon that's essentially the makings of the best character. If it were me, I'm a grappler sucker. Look, I'm bad at fighting games. Let's just all agree on this. I'm bad at actual physical fighting games because I don't have enough dexterity for it. I guess my skill isn't really enough. So doing long, complicated combos, not my thing. So might as well grapple people so that you can deal the most amount of damage with the least amount of button inputs, right? So I made people.
Those full circles are tough to put in, though.
Yeah, those
that
full
kept
circles
me off saying Geef for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. That's why I don't play Geef. That's why I can't play Geef. But yeah, if it's grapplers, like in Persona 4 Ultimax, I made Kanji because Kanji's a great grappler.
Yeah, Kanji's great.
Yeah, I love Kanji. And last question for our 99 questions, which aren't 99 questions. Why did you decide to launch a board game company, Brad?
Well, I've been making board games a long time, so I had been making them as a kid, and it was around 2008 we had the big market crash, and I was working after that I was working as a contractor because I was a junior member of my programming team, so I got laid off. And anyway, so I was contracting, and that was about the time the Kickstarter boom happened, and I saw Tasty Minstrel's Imminent Domain on Kickstarter, and I was like, oh, this is cool, I could do this. And so I put together the game I was currently making as a hobby. I put it on Kickstarter, and that was the first BattleCon game, and it succeeded. And after that, the rest is history.
Oh, okay. The birth of Level 99 games, everyone. So I'm glad you were laid off, because now I get to play your games.
Well, I was working, I'd been working as a professional Apple developer, so I made a tool called DM Toolkit and a couple other RPG tools, and those did really well. And so I had my business already. I was Level 99 Games was originally making RPG tools, and then the board game side of things came up, and it did so well that it took off, and I don't do the RPG tools anymore. I just do board games now.
Which, I guess, is for the better. And that pretty much does it for our
I think I'm better at that, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, no offense to past Brad, but your board games are better now. And that pretty much does it for our 99 questions, which aren't 99 questions. One of these days we need to make a song for this segment. 99 questions of Level 99 games on the wall.
Oh my goodness! Don't even try. Well, we'll leave that to the sound guys that are working on BattleCon Online and Pixel Tactics Online.
Dude, Wesley is working on BattleCon Online and Pixel Tactics.
Oh man, the sound sounds so good on Pixel Tactics Online now. He just did a sound test.
Yeah.
And man, it really comes to life.
I played it earlier, and the music is top notch. But let's move on to our final segment. Our News 99. Brad, do you have any interesting news? Preferably, Brad. Okay, this might be a foreign concept to you, but preferably Level 99 games related.
Yeah, so excitingly enough, we are launching Pixel Tactics Online. Woo! This is completely unexpected and secret, and I know that you guys haven't seen this or heard of this game yet, but Pixel Tactics Online
is something Pixel Tactics Online? This sounds interesting.
Secretly working on, for the past 6 months almost. And it is about to go into open beta. So once we get the menus and the sound put in, which will probably be another few weeks, we are going to release open beta of Pixel Tactics Online, and very exciting. We're super hyped to be bringing you guys this game. So look out for it pretty soon in an announcement on our website.
Yes. Can I just gush for 10 seconds about Pixel Tactics Online? Great.
Yeah,
it's
go
great.
for it.
Top notch. If Pixel Tactics were an anime girl, it would be my waifu. Is that a good enough compliment?
I don't even know what that means, but let's just move on and pretend that never happened.
Okay, let's move on and pretend like it never happened. Nobody loves me. Okay, no, but do you have any other interesting news, Brad? Or is that
aside from that, we have two new games that we're going to announce in the near future. That are new small box games. The first is Sellswords Olympus.
Yes.
And you'll be able to order Sellswords Olympus very soon in our online store. This is the sequel to the critically acclaimed Sellswords, now featuring Norwegian gods and monsters.
Wait, Norwegian?
Sorry, not Norwegian. No, the first one was Norwegian. Was like Ragnarok and Zeus, or not Ragnarok and Odin and stuff. This one is Grecian. This one is Zeus and Medusa and Perseus and Hercules, all those guys.
Yes.
So that's what's coming out. Yeah, the Grecian one. Sellsword's Olympus.
Yes, Olympus, the most Norwegian.
Be quiet. Give me a break. It's still early. Well, it's 10 o'clock now, so it's not early anymore.
All right. And the second game?
Give me a break. There's no excuse.
Have a
second game's coming out is called I Can't Even With These Monsters by Daniel Solis. It's a card drafting game where you are trying to get the highest even score possible. So if your score is odd, it doesn't count. You have to have an even score at the end of the game. And you do that by playing and capturing these different monster characters on the table. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I think that you'll enjoy it too. And it's a great game for the less hardcore audience. So if you want to bring 3 to 6 people together who enjoy games like Tomb Raider or Anansi from our line, then they'll probably enjoy I Can't Even as well.
I can't even, Brad. I can't even.
Yep. Pretty much. That's the idea.
Yeah. Okay, and that pretty much does it for this Level Cap podcast. I hope all of you enjoyed listening, and if you didn't enjoy listening, well, thank you for sticking it out with us to hear some of the greatest Level 99 games news, or otherwise, sometimes, maybe, perhaps. Yeah, no. Okay, no, seriously. And that pretty much does it for this episode of the Level Cap podcast. I hope all of you enjoyed listening, and of course, if you didn't enjoy listening, thank you for staying with us and enjoying some Level 99 games news at the very least.
If you got this far and you're not enjoying listening, don't listen to us. Just go play some board games or something. I mean, there's so many things to do in your life, so just go ahead and declare yourself a winner and quit. Oh. And then move on to the next thing.
Declare yourself a winner of this podcast and quit. Actually, Brad and I will do this for you. If you don't like listening to us, you are now eternally let go. You have won.
You're now the winner. If you don't like us, you've won the Level 99 Games podcast, and you can quit now.
There you go. You are a grand
we
prize
concede.
winner.
We concede to you.
Yeah, actually, well played. I concede. And then I explode. Right? And if you guys want to give us any suggestions for characters of the week, Game Club games of the week, and maybe, just maybe, slogans that are halfway decent, please send us all to our comment sections and our other social medias.
We could take 2 halfway decent slogans and mash them up to create a 100% decent slogan. Maybe even 110% decent slogan if we're more than halfway decent.
How are you sure, though, that the decent parts are what get mixed in? What if the not decent parts are what get mixed in?
That's how genetics works. Yeah.
So 1/4 of all the... So once we get the 2 slogans that are halfway decent, 1/4 of their baby slogans will suck.
I'm not sure exactly how all the math works out, but it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
Just try it. Just try it.
All right, I'll try. So give us 2 halfway decent slogans instead of 1 good one, because we want it complicated that way at Level 99 Games.
We have to to Frankenstein all these slogans together to create the ultimate slogan.
Actually, how can you have a bad slogan if your slogan's just every slogan? Right?
Exactly.
Oh, perfect.
Like the whole podcast could just be one long slogan.
I want.
It's like Judge Dredd, but you can be like Judge Slogan. Like, I am the slogan. Oh. Right,
Brad. What does this turn? Actually, you just can't see like at the very end of the slogan. It's just Judge Dredd. No, okay.
Okay, we're getting into like secret episode territory. So let's call this.
And as usual, it has been me, your host, Marco De Santos, and with me is my judging co-host,
Brad Talton. Yeah,
you're supposed to say your name.
Oh my goodness. Okay, right. With Marco is your judging host, Brad Talton. That's me.
All right, and we hope to see you guys again next week. Sayonara.
Next week.